Welcome to our mini podcast series, I Built a Company That Makes a Difference by B1, where we talk to founders of sustainable businesses to get their quick takes on how and why they started their companies and some lessons learned along the way. Today, we're talking to Isabelle DeMillan, the founder of the MightyBin, a zero-waste grocery store based in San Diego. Isabelle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So cool. Let's jump in. It's not every day that we get to talk to an entrepreneur that has started a grocery store. So I'm super excited about the MightyBin to learn more about it, yourself, and the mission. So first of all, though, I'm really curious, what makes a grocery store zero waste?
Yeah, so the name Zero Waste Grocery Store, it's basically a goal that we're trying to achieve. Currently in our society, we are unable to achieve zero waste at this time, and that's okay. But it's just something that we want to reach towards. So we do our best to eliminate all single-use plastics, and we encourage people to bring their own containers into the store to refill. We also offer donated containers that we sanitize that you could take at no cost if you need any extras or you've just walked off from the street. We also offer recycled paper bags that you can easily recycle or compost. And then also there's jars for purchase in store. So we provide you with options to help eliminate single-use packaging.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Does that mean that you like your cucumbers and nothing is wrapped in plastic that doesn't need to be wrapped in plastic and is just thrown away? Like none of that we see so much at the grocery store. Is that right?
Yeah, so we offer a great variety of bulk product, mostly dry product in wall dispensers as well as bulk bins. And then we have household and personal care items in big gallon size containers that you can refill your own containers. And then we offer produce staples like onions and garlic and things like that. And then we also offer a local farm CSA box. So we have different options for you that are all plastic free.
Cool. And are your customers like individuals, individual shoppers and consumers, or do you also service like food service in companies and restaurants and like a wide variety of folks, or is it mostly like individuals like yourself, myself?
So we are a small business and we are basically servicing San Diego at the moment. We don't have any, bigger businesses that we're supporting at the moment just because we are pretty small and just starting out.
Okay, awesome. That's a good segue then. Can you tell me about the origin story of the MightyBin, how you got started, a little bit about yourself as well, what prompted you to start it, and then the services that you guys offer. I mean, I know you guys do grocery, but there are a couple other things that you guys do as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So the concept of the Mighty Bin, shopping this way has obviously been something that our ancestors did. We're just bringing it back kind of 2.0. And, originally I've always wanted to have a career that, really made an impact. And I couldn't really find a company that kind of met my high level of sustainability standards. And I just really wanted to kind of just do things my way and make a difference. And I ended up studying green building design, and I couldn't really find any positions in that field, and kind of started learning more about our daily habits and how, with the amount of humans on this planet and our actions daily, like if we were to make simple swaps every day, these could really help lower our waste and just plastic use and things like that. And so I figured, let's focus on human behavior and habits. And um, obviously, grocery stores provide us with almost everything we need daily. So if we were to really change the way our grocery stores were, we could really help people make these simple changes and in turn help the planet and our future. So I decided I was looking at zero waste lifestyles. I started to learn more about that, and then saw all these zero waste grocery stores popping up, and they're originally more abroad and they're making their way to the US, and I was like, there's nothing in San Diego grocery wise. um, and it was definitely something that I heard a lot of people, our groceries, it's hard to find things in bulk here. And so I figured, let's just do the whole grocery store. Let's just see what happens. And it's been awesome. People have been so excited that we've opened, and we get newcomers in every day. And it's definitely a gradual change with this, shopping one way for so long. I don't expect it to happen overnight, but the amount of people that have been adopting this way of shopping has been really rewarding and really awesome to see.
That's great to hear. When
Yeah.
did you guys open?
So we opened April 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, so
April
only in our like
2022.
10th month. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you guys are coming up in about 4 months here on your 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It feels like 5 years.
Yeah. Such as starting a business and a physical
Yes.
business as well. Can you
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about, just so we can have a mental picture, a mental image of the MightyBin? Can you take us through, what does it look like? How big is
Yeah.
the store? What do you see when you walk in?
Yeah. So this type of grocery store doesn't require as big of a footprint as conventional stores where everything is individually packaged in single-use plastics and things like that. So we have a whole wall lined with gravity dispensers that are filled with a variety of bulk dry goods. And then we have in the middle section, we have 2 rows of bulk bins where we have other variety of dry bulk goods. And then we have a whole wall of spices and supplements and teas where you can refill. And we have a nut grinder. So we switch from peanuts to almonds, cashews, things like that, where you can have freshly ground nut butters. And we have in the back, we have a lot of our different personal care and household refillables, such as cleaners and soaps and shampoos, conditioners, things like that. And then we have zero waste products in store. So things like reusable baking mats, containers, just bar soaps, shampoo bars, other things that you may need daily to swap out. And then we have a freezer. That's a new addition. And so we have loose fruit and vegetables that you can scoop out, as well as local gluten-free bread. And then we just added this amazing local um, coconut fish. It's basically like fish, things you would have in a fish taco, but it's made from coconut meat. It's delicious. And then we have a fridge filled with a lot of local vendors. And then we have some staple produce in there as well, and local vegan cheeses and milk and things like that. And then we have our CSA program. So we found out in the beginning that, with produce, obviously it doesn't last as long as you would like. So we ended up switching over to a CSA box, and this has been a really great switch because we're able to not waste as much produce, and then we're able to support all these local farms around us, and there's so many wonderful farms. And so people can sign up, and you can do weekly, bi-weekly, 5 item, 10 item, and pick up every Thursday. So that's been a really great addition.
Can you
And
just
then
define CSA for anybody who doesn't know?
yeah. Yeah. So community supported agriculture. So it's just supporting the local community and local farms. And also, we have a compost drop off program, which has been really popular. So
Mm-hmm.
we have 5 gallon buckets, and you basically sign up monthly, $20 monthly, unlimited drop offs. Fill the bucket with any type of organic waste. Anything you buy at the store that is plant based, which mostly everything is, you can also place in this bin. It will naturally break down. And then you just drop it off and pick up a clean bucket. Super simple and easy. So it's been really great program to have.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Um, how big is your team?
So right now it's just me and two others, and we're just onboarding some new people right now because we're making some transitions. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a pretty small team, but yeah, we work pretty hard.
Nice. Okay, so
Yeah.
speaking of transition, at the time that we're recording this, it is the beginning of January 2023. So if we think about this new year that we've just entered, what is the biggest challenge that you feel like you're facing for this next 12 months?
I think just with any new business, this past year with like different times of the year, different holidays and events, it was such a learning experience.
Hmm.
And so we are continuing that, starting in the new year, just like seeing how to go about different events and advertising and marketing and things like that. So it's just a daily learning experience for me as a new business owner.
Hmm.
And so, but I do have, an idea of how this next year is going to play out now that I have this, whole year behind me. So that's just really, it's really exciting. We have so many things planned. We have, I think, almost one workshop a month, from learning how to make your own vermicompost, worm composting bin, to learning about gardening, and then even like a candle making workshop. So we have a lot of cool things coming up, and just creative ideas, which is always fun, and in this kind of environment. So I'm excited.
Okay, that's great. So then this might be a repetitive question. This next one then, is there any one thing or one aspect that you're super excited about for the new year?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's kind of like we had that trial run last year, and now, we're starting kind of fresh in this new year, and I kind of have a better sense of, you know, timing and like things that need to be done ahead of time, and kind of how things will play out more, especially with like all the holidays and things like that. You really have to plan around that, which I've never had to do before.
Hmm.
um, so it is exciting. Me and my marketer, we're constantly brainstorming, and it's always fun, to use my creative side, which I've always wanted to, and also just think of really creative ways to educate, which is a huge part of our store. And
Hmm.
so, we're going to be doing like a monthly, um, basically promotion on highlighting like one zero waste product and kind of learning more about it, and then offering a discount in store to get people more on board to make those gradual switches in their life. So it's
Hmm.
just, yeah, it's a lot of cool, exciting things keeping us busy.
That's fantastic. And for any entrepreneur out there, it's such a big milestone. I know it's a couple months away, but making it through your first year, that's nothing to sneeze at. So that's an important milestone. Congratulations, almost. I'm sure we'll be
Yeah.
talking around April time for an official celebration.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, it's crazy how time flies, but then it also feels like it's been like 5 years. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, now there are a couple questions because there are a lot of entrepreneurs in addition to shoppers out there who listen to our podcast. Got three questions that we like to ask all of our guests. One is in your entrepreneurship journey, your journey to founding and starting the Mighty Bin, what do you feel like has been your biggest success? I know it's been about 10 months, but I'm sure this project has been conceived or was conceived a lot earlier than that. So what do you feel like has been your biggest success to date?
Um, I think that, um, in the initial planning, I really tried to get as many people on board as early as possible. And I had a wonderful help of my marketer to help me with that. And I think that's really helped, build up our followers
Hmm.
from an early start, which I think is hard to do. And so I'm really glad that we were able to do that. Um, and it's it because this is such a new, concept in the world as well as just in San Diego, you're like, how are people going to take to this?
Hmm.
And I was very pleasantly surprised on the amount of people, so many people saying that they were waiting for a store like this to open up.
Mm.
And then also just the excitement of people in the store and just, looking at one thing and being like, wow, wow, wow. Like it really warms my heart and really kind of reassures and validates my, decision to open up the store. So I would say that that's been a huge success for me, is to feel like, there it was a good decision to do this, and
Hmm.
that also I'm helping people, I'm helping my community, because the whole store is built around convenience, and I just want it to be super convenient for everyone to make these switches in their life. And I think that it has been a success since the beginning, and I've had a steady flow in the store since the beginning, and that's been really great for a new business. Yeah, so it's been wonderful.
We talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of small business owners, and that first, I mean, it's a slog. It can be, I mean, it's tough, right? Entrepreneurs are a special kind of breed of motivated people, um, and really dedicated to your project, to your craft, to what you're doing and trying to build. So those early indicators of success, I hear again and again how important they are. So that's
Hmm.
fantastic that you've had a lot of early indication from the community, from folks who you've reached out to, and just organic indicators that the Mighty Bin is not only like, oh, this is a cool thing, but like we've been waiting for this thing to exist in our area. That must be
Hmm.
really, really reassuring.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, switching gears then. What about the biggest failure or what you would call a failure to date?
Yeah, that's, I'm glad that I nothing really comes to mind, which is awesome. um, I think I wouldn't even call them failures. I think it's just trial and error with this, with just a new business in general, and then a new type of business. I've had to create new things for the store, to make, you know, bulk goods, doable in the store kind of thing. I've had to rearrange things. I've had to be really creative on the design of the store and the layout and everything. So it's just been such an adventure, and I wouldn't even call them failures. It's just, if this isn't working, let's try something new. And we've done that so many times in the store. And we just keep getting better. So I can see why, it's very easy to be discouraged by all these supposed failures, but it's such a learning experience, and you just kind of got to go with it and kind of try to enjoy it as much as you can.
Hmm.
But yeah, I can see how it could be seen as a failure, but I wouldn't call them failures. It's just helped me grow.
I love that. I hear that also again and again, that entrepreneurs, being the kind of special breed of people that they are really reluctant to call anything a failure, whether it's something that's learned, that you
Yeah.
are adapt around, you pivot, you're flexible, and you make it work. So in that vein, what about the most important lesson you've learned today? It might be in like operations, mindset, the way that you approach something, maybe something very tangible like sourcing suppliers. I don't know.
Hmm.
One of if you could really boil one of those lessons down, what's a really important one?
Oh man, there's so many changes in my life from the store, and I think that because I've personally, I'm sure other entrepreneurs too, obviously, it's you kind of feel like you have to constantly be overseeing, your baby, and
Mm,
any break is like, well, you're not on top of it, you're not doing your job. And I think that's been probably the hardest thing for me. Because I just want it to be, perfect. I want it to be, everything to be organized and efficient. And so I've really had to force myself to take take days off and
Mm.
actually decompress. And I think that's been the hardest thing, but it is so important, and I honestly need to do it more. It just helps, you know, have a fresh start coming back into the new work day, and see things differently, and not be so stressed, and not be so crazed in the store, and things like that. So yeah, I think it's a good lesson, I think, for anyone honestly working. Just make sure you're taking those breathers. It definitely help you be just a better person in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, before we started recording, you and I were talking about your recent what turned into a 15-hour trip that
Hmm.
preceded by a couple hours your next work day. And that must have been kind of a really tough thing to do. But of course, taking time off and resting, there's such a, yeah, a swelling. I'm glad there is a growing focus, at least in the US, I think in Europe as well, on the really the importance of rest, cognitively,
Hmm.
physically, emotionally, mentally. It is something that is we've got to do it. And as
Hmm.
entrepreneurs who, tend to have things like perfectionist strains and just really, of course, it's kind of an obsession. This is the project you called it your baby, this thing that you're building. It's
Hmm.
that's a particularly tough thing to listen to learn.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, we talk a lot with entrepreneurs, especially retail merchants and small businesses who have a very unique vantage point for watching human behavior. It just shoppers interacting with directly and indirectly people all day long, sometimes
Hmm.
for the good, sometimes for the wacky. But you guys get to interact with and see and observe human behavior from a very unique vantage point. If you could get
Hmm.
85% of the world to adopt a single behavior, what would it be?
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of things. um, but I would say probably the most useful, and I think the most beneficial to our planet as well as just the individual, would be to be a little more mindful when it comes to shopping in general. We are in a very um, consumerist society right now, and the kind of mindset is, more is better, and constant shopping all the time, and it's kind of like, do we really need to be doing that? Is that really the best thing for us? And it's very stressful too, and so I think that with me adopting a more minimalist, zero waste kind of lifestyle, I've seen such benefit in just having less. I'm so less stressed,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to value my few things I have. And,
Mm-hmm.
I opt for quality rather than quantity. And it's a really wonderful experience. And I honestly, like, I have no desire to shop anymore. And I'm always
Mm-hmm.
just like, I go past stores, I'm like, oh, that sounds exhausting,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would say just to, be more mindful. Like, do I need to do this? Is this going to bring value into my life? Where is this coming from? Where is this being sourced from? Is it going to just end up in the landfill? Just having these more mindful shopping questions, and kind of opting for more experiences too in life. So I would say that could bring a lot of benefit to the individual person as well as just in our society. If we could do with a little less.
So
Yeah.
I like that a lot, and it makes me think specifically. We did a webinar not too long ago with a sustainable fashion psychologist around a lot of what you just mentioned, which is purposeful and mindful shopping asking yourself questions like that before you engage in the act of shopping, and then valuing the thing that you are buying, as in
Mhm.
respecting and thinking about all of the hands that have touched this thing, whether it's a garment or otherwise, what's gone into the production of it, and then being mindful about everybody who's contributed to that,
Mhm.
to make sure that you really value it a little bit more or a lot more, and you don't see it as a throwaway. So a lot of the things that you
Mhm.
just mentioned, I will actually link the that webinar in our show notes.
Oh, great.
Um,
Yeah.
and then, okay, I encourage everybody who's listening to this, everybody who's listening to our voices, if you're in the San Diego area, please check out the MightyBin. Um, I don't think San Diego, I haven't been to San Diego in a while, but I don't think San Diego is that big. So wherever you are in the city, please go check out the MightyBin. For Isabel, for everybody who is not in the San Diego area, could you give us maybe a tip or two for if we're going to regular grocery stores, not even close to zero waste grocery stores, what could we do in those places to help lower our consumption of like single-use plastics, for example, or just, shop more intelligently, smartly, if we're
Mhm.
not in, the vicinity of a zero waste grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do. Opt for buying things in glass or metal instead of the single-use plastic. And a big thing is to support organic farming, regenerative farming. My whole store is dedicated to sustainable food production. So almost everything in our store is certified organic or grown locally. And so, really voting with your dollar, putting your money to support those businesses that are, on a mission to do well, support future food production and the health of our soil. Put your money there towards those goods that you can see are grown organically or regeneratively. I think that's probably a big thing you could do, and then obviously, yeah, looking for less plastic, which is very hard, and so don't be too discouraged. This is a gradual change, and just making these small changes is you're doing great. So always remind yourself of that too.
Well, that's a nice message for the beginning of the year. And finally, where can we find you?
Yeah, so we're located in North Park, San Diego, down in the South City of San Diego. And we are on El Cajon Boulevard, 2855 El Cajon Boulevard. And just right off the 805. So if you're in San Diego, you'll know that. And then you can also find us online at themightybin.com. And then we're very active on Instagram at the Mighty Bin, as well as on Facebook. So yeah, check us out there. We have a lot of resources on our website. And yeah, look forward to connecting.
Awesome. Isabel, thank you very, very much. It's been a real pleasure. I am looking forward to visiting the Mighty Bin the next time I'm in San Diego, but otherwise, I'm definitely going to give your socials a follow and check out the website as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to your visit to the bin.
Wonderful. And thank you, everyone in the audience. See you very soon on V1. Thanks, everybody.